This is a brief tutorial of the game King of Tokyo Duel as played on Board Game Arena. King of Tokyo Duel is a two-player version of the popular game King of Tokyo. If you know that game already, a lot of this is going to look familiar. We'll go over all the rules anyway. It's fairly straightforward. This is a battle game between two people where you're rolling dice in a Yahtzee style to do damage to the other player and also move two different tracks in your direction. So there are a few different ways to win, which we'll go over, and then a few special powers that you get and can trigger with some of the dice rolls. So as you can see, here's the main board, and there's two tracks here. There's a star track. You can see kind of the path that it goes around, and then there's the destruction track down here on the red. And you were trying to pull your either one of these tracks, the markers here, to your side. So you can see this side is my side and there's my opponent's side. So I'm trying to pull it to the left, they're trying to pull to the right. And there's various ways to affect that with the dice and other ways. And one of the win conditions is if you get either one of these markers all the way to the end of your row. It doesn't have to be both of them, just one of them. If you get it all the way to the end, then you win instantly. A second win condition is if you get both of these markers in this what's called spotlight section. You can see in the background there's little lights going, but this yellow highlight is marking these specific three spots, not even this spot, these specific three spots. If you have both of these markers in that spot on their respective paths, that is also a win condition. And then the final win condition is just defeating the other opponent physically. They have a certain number of health. I, for instance, start off with 14 health, and my opponent starts with 13 health. If we get the opponent's health down to 0, then you win the game. All right, the game starts with you, typically with you choosing a monster to play as, and I'll go over what the different monsters do in a minute here, but basically they give you a set health and then they give you some sort of special ability based on rolling those exclamation points, and we'll look at those. You also have cards here that you can purchase for energy that give you special powers, either one-time powers or ongoing things that you can do. And sometimes they will also let you add these little tracks to the board in order to change up what happens during these tracks. So on your turn, you'll take typically 6 dice, but this is only 5 because the first player to go only rolls with 5, just a little bit of a disadvantage since they are going first. And there are a few different things that you can see, and you can see a few of them here, most of them actually. So first we have the destruction symbol and the star symbol. Those represent the different tracks. If you get enough of those symbols, you can move the marker towards you along those tracks. Now, it's not just one symbol. You have to get at least 3 to move along those tracks that number of space, well, to move along those tracks at all. So if I got 3 stars after rolling, I would be able to move 1 spot. If I had an extra star, then I could move 2 spots. So you have to get 3 to get any movement, and then for every star after that, you get an extra one. So, if I got all 5 of these as stars, or even all 6, you could move 3 or 4 spaces even. So a really good roll could really get you far along. So it's something to keep in mind, especially as you're watching your opponents. Same with the destruction symbol. If I get 3 of those, then I move 1. And then if I get 4, 2, and then 5, I move 3. You have to get at least that 3 to begin with. Otherwise, you don't get any movement for it. Then we have this lightning here. This is energy. Whenever you roll an energy, you get that as a value. I start with 1 since I'm going second, but you can start storing that up, and you buy these cards with energy, and we'll talk about those in a bit. The heart is a heal. If you ever end your roll with a heart, then you get to heal up. We both start at full health. And there's also a claw face, and that will decrease the health of your opponent. So as you are decreasing the health of your opponent, they are going to want to roll hearts in order to increase it back up so they don't get to 0. Again, I said this is the dice rolling is Yahtzee style, so you will roll all of the dice, lock some of them, roll again. You can unlock and lock between if you want to change your mind, but you have a total of 3 rolls before then you resolve all of the dice. Or you can resolve them all early if you like what you've rolled. So for instance here, my opponent has these 5 dice. He locked 2 of them here and then re-rolled these 2. There's the symbol for the attack. And then he locked 1 of them. And this is what he ended up with. So he ended up with 2 exclamation points, 2 energy, and 1 hit. So once this resolve, I'm going to go down by 1 health point. He's going to get 2 energy that he can use to buy cards. And then the exclamation points are the final side that we haven't talked about. Those let you trigger your special ability as a monster. And we saw that a little bit. So for instance, my special ability is if I get 2 exclamation points, I can pull one of either of these on my track. Any more than that, that's it. They use this greater than sign, which can be confusing, but it really is just kind of an arrow. Think of it that way. So all I can do is if I can get 2 exclamation points, then I can pull either one along the track there. As my opponent here has an ability where if they get 2 exclamation points, they get 2 extra energy. And if they get another exclamation point after that, they get another 2 energy. So they could get 4 energy if they get 3 of those exclamation points. And the other ones do different things, like exclamation points could do damage, extra damage, or heal you, or do various things. Some of them get more complicated, and but each one, as you hover over, you should be able to see exactly what this one can do. So Gigazar pulls either the star destruction track with the 2 symbols, and it's saying like, hey, this is a good way to like be flexible and try to get that spotlight zone victory, which means getting them both in there. So for instance, like if I had the destruction track here and then I got a really good star track, I could pull in the star and then use that power to pull in this really quick and sneak in a quick spotlight victory. So that's kind of how that would work. All right, so then once they resolve the dice, they go through and they have the option. So my opponent here, they get extra energy. So they're going to get 2 energy for this, plus another 2 energy for these 2 exclamation points. You can see that. They get the 2. I get hit, so I go down to 13. And they also get the extra 2 from the energy. So they have 4 energy, which they can use on these cards. You can see there's a cost in the top left of the cards, and the one on the very right has a discount of 1. So this one actually only costs 4, and then once it goes, it slides down. You can also spend 2 energy to completely clear all 3 and draw 3 new ones. And if you don't buy a card, either because you don't want to or because you can't afford any, then you would just get an energy at the end of your turn, and you'll see that as an option. And you'll see right now we see keep on all of these. There are a few cards that are called that show discard on them. Let's see if we get one in here. Right, so this one is a discard and these are keep. So a keep means it stays in front of you and it's some ongoing power. For example, this one says if you take at least 3 damage, you can trade this card with one of your opponent's keep cards. Or this one, if you can match 5 symbols, whatever symbols they are, in a row, then your rival takes 4 damage and you pull 2 on the destruction check. And you keep that in front of you. Whereas the discard, you pay for it, it happens, and then it gets discarded. So in this case, you pay the 5 energy, you pull 1 on the destruction track, and your rival takes 2 damage, and then that goes away. The other thing to notice about these is they have these little symbols on them below. These are buzz tokens. And so when you buy a card that has one of these symbols, then you get to place the corresponding buzz token on the path. So these are all of the buzz tokens. And you basically can put these on you take one of these and you stick them on the path, and then it will change that path in a certain way. All right, so I'm going to show this placement of the buzz token and then explain a bit how it works. So they placed it on there. You can see they rotated it upside down. They placed it overlaying one of the tracks, and they chose this track. You can choose either one, and on either side, you just can't overlap a previous buzz token, and you can't place it where a marker currently is. Also, if by chance somebody else specifically got this buzz token, again, instead of placing it, because there's not one to place, they would move it somewhere else. The symbols now on the buzz token now give specific benefits to whoever pulls onto those tokens. So if I pull the destruction marker here, then I get a heart. If I pull it here, I hit the opponent for 1, and then this would give me an energy. During this game, we were still learning, and my opponent placed it on the wrong side. This is definitely better for me, and they should have placed it more towards them so that as they're pulling it, it gives them benefits. But as I pull it, if they pull it back over those same icons, they will receive the same benefit. So whoever's pulling it to an icon gets the benefit on that icon. Now there are a couple other variations here. You'll see this one, it's got the same 3 spots, but there's only 2 circles. This actually shortens the length of the track. So if you put this on your side, you can actually skip a spot in the track, which helps you get better to that win condition. Similarly, this one adds a section to the track, and so then it makes it harder for them to drag the marker to their endpoint. So that would be something you would try to put on your opponent's side. This little symbol right here is called a dice card, I believe, dice token, and it'll come up in certain cards, and some powers have it as well. But whenever you see that, you get a dice token, which is here, and you can have up to 2, but no more than 2, and you can use up to 2 of them to add an extra dice to your roll. So if you have one, use it and you roll not 6 dice, but 7 dice. See, this is a full 6 because it's now the second turn here. So as you go and as people buy cards, you're going to add more and more tokens to this to change up the board a bit and make it a little easier or harder for one side or the other. And again, the 3 things you're doing is trying to pull one of the markers all the way to your side, have them both in your spotlight zone, or defeat completely the other player. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit so you can see what a bit later game looks like. Okay, this is towards the end of the game. This game turned out a little interesting. I ended up getting a lot of destruction on my rolls on my path. So I added this, and I was able to add this here so I could skip one of the spots. And so I was really focusing on getting that destruction all the way to the end. And while as my opponent kept trying to hit me for health and just get me down to 0 health quicker than I could do that. And they had a way to get a lot of energy, and so they kept getting lots of cards. You can see how many different cards that they have. And I barely made it by. I had a card that was able to let me roll and try to get hearts to prevent damage, but eventually I was able to get this really nice roll, which moved me 2 on the destruction track, plus I have the 2 exclamation points so I could move a 3rd, which put me right in the position. They ended up, see, this is where they used an extra dice, so I think they were trying to just kill me at the end before I could pull it. You know, it was either try to pull this back or just try to take out my 4 hearts. So they decided to just go all in on destruction. they went, they were going to do 3 hearts to me, 3 damage to me, but I was able to roll 2 hearts to prevent that and ended up, fortunately, getting the win by being able to pull the destruction die using my special power of the exclamation point, so I didn't have to roll this one 3 times, and was able to win the game by pulling that one more time, which was an immediate win after my turn. So that is how you play King of Tokyo Duel. Again, it's this tug of war on 2 different tracks, or it's just a battle where you're trying to hit each other as hard as possible. You're going to want to figure out what your power is, so what you do best. What the cards come up that may help you along in that, or if you get some really good rolls, especially track rolls, that might be a great option as well. All right, I hope this was helpful. Thanks.